Hello my lovely dark readers and welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarah and this is The Dark Spine, the place where we explore books that are dark, mysterious, scary and sometimes a little bit morally grey. Now, before we even meet the assassin we know from Throne of Glass, there is a whole world of choices, losses, and survival that shaped her. And the assassin's blade is where all of that quietly begins to take form. Today, I am talking about The Assassin's Blade, the novella collection by Sarah J. Maas, which is part of the Throne of Glass series. I gave this book 5 stars on Fable and I genuinely think it adds something really special to the wider series. Now, for some of you who have watched a few of my videos, I usually say I don't give 5 stars very often, and I don't. But when it comes to Sarah J. Maas, there isn't a book that I haven't yet given 5 stars to, I don't think, because I just think she's amazing. And I think I'll give all of her books 5 stars. I'm yet to be corrected. Now, if you have read Throne of Glass, this feels like stepping backwards in time to understand how everything started. Not just the plot, but the person at the centre of it all. The Assassin's Blade is a collection of short stories that follow Celaena Sardothien before we meet her in Throne of Glass. It shows her working as an assassin, taking on missions, and slowly being shaped by experiences that are often brutal, unfair, and deeply human. What I really liked is that it doesn't feel like filler. It feels like content that matters. Each story adds another layer to who she is when we first meet her in Endovia. And honestly, it changes how you see her later in the series. One of the strongest parts of this collection is how personal it feels. We already meet Celaena in Throne of Glass as someone sharp and confident and guarded, but here you see why. You see the trust that gets broken, the people she cares about, the decisions she's forced to make far too young, and the emotional weight she carries into every situation. It's hard not to pause and think, she's only 18 when we meet her in the main series. That detail hits differently after reading this, because this book shows how much she's already survived before the story even begins. What I appreciated most was the pacing. Even though these are short stories, they didn't feel rushed. Each one focuses on a different mission or moment in Celaena's life, but they all connect into a bigger emotional arc. There's also a strong sense of consequence. Nothing feels random. Every action seems to build toward the version of Celaena we meet later. And if you're someone who enjoys character-driven fantasy, then this collection really delivers that. Now, I'm currently reading Queen of Shadows, which is the book after Heir of Fire in this series. And this is spoiler-free, but there are some characters in Queen of Shadows that she hasn't seen for a while, and you read about the past with her in The Assassin's Blade, and having read that, it really, really does change the way that you see her. She's even more badass than you think she is, because you know what's happened in The Assassin's Blade. Now, as I said before, I am going to keep this completely spoiler-free, especially if you've not read the Throne of Glass series yet. So I'm not going to go into any plot details of any of the individual stories. But what I can say is this. Expect emotional weight, expect difficult choices, and expect moments that make you understand Celaena in a much deeper way without needing any major plot reveals. You might actually need some tissues as well because it can get quite emotional. Now, I actually read The Assassin's Blade after Crown of Midnight, which is the second book, so I read it third. There's no set place where you should read it. I know there is a little bit of argument for should you read it first or should you read it after Crown of Midnight. But reading it after Crown of Midnight worked for me really well because by that point I'd already built a strong connection to Celaena. I cared about her. I was invested in her journey, and that made this collection land even harder emotionally than if I'd have read it before Throne of Glass and didn't know her at all. And it also meant I had no spoiler concerns and I could just enjoy learning more about her past without worrying about future events being revealed. Not that they are particularly. What stood out to me the most was how much it filled in emotional gaps. Not plot gaps, but character gaps. It made her feel more real, more layered, and more shaped by experience. You understood her better. It's one of those reads where you finish it and suddenly realise you understand the main character in a completely different way. And for me, this is an easy 5-star read. Not because of its action packedness or the surprises that come, but because it deepens everything that comes after it. If you're reading the Throne of Glass series, I genuinely think this adds value no matter where you place it in your reading order. But you also don't have to read it at all. You're not really losing out on anything. But reading it after Crown of Midnight worked perfectly for me because it felt like filling in the emotional backstory of a character I already cared about. It's not just extra content, it feels essential once you've read it, especially as you progress through the series and parts of Celaena's past are referenced. If you haven't read The Assassin's Blade, there's no spoilers, you don't lose anything. But if you have read it, you get that knowing smile on your face, like you're part of an elite club, a club that knows exactly what happened in that part of Celaena's life. If you've read The Assassin's Blade, I'd love to know where you placed it in your reading order and how it changed your view of Celaena. And if you're just starting the series, I hope this helps you decide when to pick it up. And I'm very jealous because you're in for an amazing ride, and I wish I could read the first 4 books again for the first time. Thank you very much for watching. It would mean a lot to me if you could like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you next time.